Yep.
What's up out there, Culture Junkie Nation? It's your boy Kenshiro. Welcome back to another great episode of Culture Junkies Live. Today, we're going to be talking about why certain movies aren't in the movie theater like they really should be. Beverly Hills Cop, Axel Foley just came out today, or excuse me, Axel F just came out on Netflix today, and I watched it and I really enjoyed it. So much so it just got me wondering, okay, why didn't this get a theater run like Glass Onion did? So we'll talk about that. Talk about the Acolyte. We'll talk about some of the Superman set photos, Hellboy trailer, and a bunch of other stuff really to talk about. But first, before I get too far into my diatribe, introduce my good friends, the great Atakuji, GQ, and Simon Says, who are on the show with me today. What is up, everybody? How you doing?
Hello, everybody.
Sorry. Hail Hydra.
Hey, man, we don't throw up gang signs on this show. What you
Hail
doing?
Hydra. Hail Hydra.
No, man, you threw up the gang signs first, dog. I saw you. I saw you. Don't act like you didn't do that. We don't do gang signs up in here. Anyway.
Cowboys of Moo Mesa.
I was just getting to ask, what is that game back there?
What is hilarious, though, that's not the whole name. In my whole entire existence, I always called it Cowboys of Moo Mesa, but it's called Wild West. Cowboys of Moo Mesa.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, it's right there on the title graphic too.
Yep, right there.
Right there on the title graphic.
There we go.
Greetings and salutations to all of you guys that are out there. Wolverine Solid X, what is up to you over there on Twitch? Ali Dakio on Facebook. Hello. Thank you for being here. Ali has been religiously joining us in our Acolyte watch parties every week. We want to thank him. He's been very supportive on the show and stuff like that. What's up to Preem for thank you for the resub. 33 months as being a sub to the Culture Junkies channel on Twitch. Thank you very much. Appreciate you for being here. Some news and notes to get to. So, first off, interesting bit of news that I wanted to share with you today as far as the ongoing Superman shoot for the Superman movie. It is filming. I forget which city is filming it. I think it's filming in Chicago. But we got our first look at Guy Gardner and Isabella, played by Nathan Fillion. We also got Isabella Merced, who's playing Hawkgirl. I think she's playing the Shire Hall version of Hawkgirl. I could be wrong, or it could be the Kendra Saunders version of Hawkgirl that we'll know later. But here she is as Hawkgirl. You see her from the back, hair's out. The helmet. I heard Campia say yesterday that it looks like a very like dollar store or CW level, Hawkgirl mask. I don't know if I'm gonna go that far. I think it looks fine. Some people may be wondering what's up with the jackets, and here's Nathan Fillion's Guy Gardner. So for Simon Says, who is a huge Green Lantern fan, by the way, huge Green Lantern fan, I definitely want to get his take on Nathan Fillion's look as Guy Gardner.
That's hilarious. He got the bowl cut. That's cool.
Yes,
I think that's dope. I think it's cool.
I didn't see the bowl cut.
Yeah, it's the bowl cut, and then but I'm like, why is his jacket white? It's weird.
Okay, so there's a reason for that. There's a reason for that. So, Mr. Terrific, Hawkgirl, Metamorpho, Green Lantern, all the members of this team are actually they're being funded almost like Justice League International was back in the day. It was Keith Giffen and J.M. DeMatteis run on Justice League, which had Guy Gardner, Martian Manhunter, and a few other people, right? And the thing with Justice League International is they were being, I don't want to say funded, but they were kind of being financed by Maxwell Lord. And Maxwell Lord is in this film, and in here you actually see Lord Tech somewhere. And so these are, and you can even see, if you can't really see right here where my mouse cursor is at, right there on Hawkgirl's chest is the Justice League symbol.
That's, I mean,
but it's corporatized, so it's a uniform. And Lord is essentially making them all wear. They're a corporate. The Justice League is a corporate entity, and I think what some people are saying is that the throughput of this movie is that Superman doesn't want to get the Authority, who are supposedly the main villains, are government backed, right? They're being controlled by the government. The government is telling them where to go, who to save, and situations to get involved in. Superman is bucking that. Superman is like, no, bump that. I'm going where I need to go. I'm going to save who I want to save. And
it sounds like Captain America, huh?
Well,
Captain America. Yeah.
Hold on.
Go ahead, man.
So you're saying that his ring is like corporate? Is a corporate ring?
I'm saying his uniform is. I'm sure his ring is still coming from the Guardians on Oa. But here's a better look at it.
But technically, he can create his own outfit. So
technically, yes, that is still true.
Well,
I hear what you're saying.
Not technically,
no, right? He 100% can't do that. No, I hear what you're saying, but I'm sure Guy is just getting in line because I don't know. It's a money thing, and you probably see even right here on his right hand, there's his Green Lantern ring. You can't really see it probably but there's his Green Lantern ring, and you can see a clear shot of the Justice League logo. Yeah. Right there in the center of his thing. So a lot of people are making a lot of bones about the jackets. The jackets do kind of look cool. I'm not gonna front. Some of them, Mr. Terrific's obviously look really cool.
Oh my gosh, he looks so weird.
I know. I know, right? I know. He totally does. Give them credit. I love the no CG cape thing. That's beautiful. I love that.
Yep.
That's
it's also a pain in the ass.
Yeah,
I'm sure it is. I'm sure it is, but that's for them to deal with. I don't care.
They got his maid of honor coming out there, flowing it out.
Pretty much. Also, Stephen Sanchez in the chat says it's filmed somewhere in Ohio.
Now that much I knew. I just wasn't sure whether it was in Cincinnati or not.
Well, you said Chicago, so I don't know what part of
did I say Chicago?
Yeah, you did. I don't know what part of Ohio you think Chicago is in.
I didn't mean Chicago. I'm sorry. I meant Cincinnati. I did mean Cincinnati. And the reason why I said Chicago was because they are in Cincinnati right now. The Cincinnati. Oh wait, no. Superman is headed to Cincinnati, and the reason they're headed to Cincinnati is because of the Hall of Justice. This building was as most people know, for those of you out there that didn't know, this building, the Chicago Cincinnati Union Terminal in Cincinnati, is what they modeled the Hall of Justice off.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Literally.
About to be a huge tourist spot again.
For real. No, 100%. And honestly, this scene I think they're filming is supposed to be some kind of conflict where Superman, I guess, is intervening and saving a lot of young kids, because you see him right here shielding this young girl, I guess, from harm.
Is he shielding or is he grooming?
Come on, GQ. That's out of line. Come on, man.
Well,
Come on, man.
Everybody wants to speculate on a single still frame. So
you're right. You're right, and that's 100% what to do. See, here you go. Simon Says, here's the whole lower tech thing, and see, it's got the Justice League logo on it.
So, are we gonna have Batman like cold cock Guy Gardner in this movie?
I wish, but doubtful. I wish, but doubtful. Doubtful. No, 100%.
Man, if that does happen, the fans are gonna go crazy. That's just fan service to
I love it. Yeah, I love that, Preem. This is the Superman movie, not the Dr. Disrespect movie. 100%.
Oh, damn.
The thing is, they're definitely borrowing some notes from the Batman Public Enemies thing, or Batman Superman Public Enemies, where there's authority and there's one big superhero that they would love to have join their side, and he's not going to do it. So we're kind of revisiting that, which is fine. It's whatever.
Yeah, no, I think that's cool. Trying to remember what some of the news that we wanted to bring up, that we wanted to talk about. Highlighted. The Gladiator 2 pictures. I need to go and pull them up, but we could talk about them briefly. Well, really, we don't necessarily need to. I think Variety came out with the first stills from Gladiator. You got to see
Gladiator. What, the continuing stories of the dead Maximus Decimus Meridius?
Yeah,
literally
the new Gladiator.
Yeah, it's the new Gladiator that's following
Previous
Connie Nielsen's son. That she sent away. Not Maximus's son, I think, right? He's not Maximus.
No, he's dead.
Yeah. No, not Maximus's son.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, not Maximus's son. Because we know
What do you
Maximus.
mean Maximus' son?
I thought
Maximus' son is quite dead.
Oh, okay. All right, then. Yeah, this is Connie Nielsen's son.
Father to a murdered son, husband to
Yeah.
a murdered wife, and I will have my revenge. Kid's quite dead.
It's been a while since I've seen Gladiator. I do need to watch it again. But a lot of people, especially the panelists on this show, are saying, did they really need to do this movie?
No.
I don't know.
They don't need to do any movie.
Well, seeing Denzel swagged out in ancient Rome is probably going to be pretty cool, though.
Yeah. That's
going to be cool.
Again, I don't know what story they're telling, but, whatever. Yeah, I'm sure it'll come out, and it'll be in theaters for 2 minutes, and then be on somebody's streaming platform.
Speaking of, so A Quiet Place, which just came out last weekend. A lot of people really seem to like it. It's doing good. It's not doing as good as Inside Out 2, which is our first 2024 $1 billion movie in 2024.
$1 billion.
Inside Out 2, is that Pixar?
Yeah.
Pixar Disney.
Oh wow, from the studio that's losing money.
Right.
Allegedly.
Right. Pixar doesn't, they never should have been bought by Disney because Disney is ruining them. Oh, yeah, okay. I think they're doing just fine. Anyway,
they're all right.
I think they're doing just fine. Anyway, so A Quiet Place prequel, which just came out last weekend. A lot of people seem to like it. It's going to be on digital in less than 30 days. Woo! Less than 30 days. Emily the Ruler, the one, thank you for joining over on Twitch. Appreciate you. I don't get what this strategy is and why they're gonna release a movie in theaters, and before it can even really catch its legs, they're cutting its legs out right out from under it and say, oh, it's gonna be on streaming in 30 days, thereby removing any of the urgency to go see it in the theater at all.
Well,
come on, man.
Money. I mean, we've talked about this countless times. They obviously got people, actuaries, a bunch of other people who look at this stuff and go, you're actually going to make more money if you don't release it in the theater. I think that could be part of it.
It's a weird strategy though, because and again, like you said, they've got people that I guess are telling them otherwise. But to me, it feels odd that you would spend, let's be honest, almost every movie nowadays costs over $100 million to make. So if you're spending over $100 million and you're banking on having enough subscriptions to cover that cost, instead of just, you don't even have to make prints anymore. You literally are sending a file to the movie theaters. There's no real legwork outside of maybe making a couple of standees to put in the theaters. Just to me, it seems like let that happen and let that, go for its, longer period of time, versus, back in the days when they had to, if they wanted to release it in thousands of theaters, then they had to literally make thousands of prints. You don't even have to do half of that anymore. So I don't know. It just seems like an odd thing where, you feels like you could probably cast a wider net and let the movie stay in theaters a little bit longer to recoup some of that hundreds of millions of dollars plus marketing costs, and then put it on streaming. If it's going to be in the theaters for 2 weeks and I don't see it, then whatever, it'll be on streaming in another week. It's just odd to me.
Yeah,
I mean, but when you say digital, see, the thing is, our brains might flock straight to just the streaming. Beginning digital is not streaming. Beginning digital is buy only or rent. So it's usually like $10 to rent it and like $20 to own it. And not all movies pop out. Not all movies pop out where they you can actually buy them. Most of them is probably that is $10 just to rent. And some people plunk down, like my dad, Furiosa. He was asking me, should I buy it? And I'm like, I mean, if you want to own it, yeah, go ahead. Go ahead and buy it. And he has done so quite a bit. I don't know if he's spending his own money or money from, what do you call those things, surveys or whatever. Maybe it's a little bit of both. Regardless of the fact that there are people out there, and probably, and I hate to say this, more people out there that will buy a digital thing than a physical. For me, I appreciate getting the digitals from my friends who love physical and don't care about digital. I appreciate that. Yeah. And if I'm going to buy something, I want something tangible. I want to be able to hold it. So, but we are, I think, the minority in that aspect, 100%, because people just they don't care
increasingly
anymore.
So. Takeem actually brought up a really good question out there. He says, "Who pays for the screens? The filmmakers, or do the theaters pay for the movie?" Who wants to take it? Because I can answer. Who wants to take it?
I personally don't know. Go ahead.
Okay, so the exhibit.
Are you talking about you're talking about the theaters?
Yes, the theaters. Who pays? Who pays for the screens? So the exhibitors essentially loan out their screens to the filmmakers, or excuse me, it's the other way around. The exhibitors, aka the movie theaters, need movies to show people. They go to the producers of those films, the film studios, and say, "Hey, we want to host. We not have your filming here. Okay, it's going to cost you this much money, at least, to do it, right?" So that's why those first weekends are always so important for the studios, because that's where they make their money. It's like a cascading scale on where the first weekend, I think pretty much all the ticket sales go to the studios, and every week afterwards, the scale tips towards the exhibitors, where the longer the movie is in there, that's where the exhibitors start to make some of their money. And that's also why concession prices are jacked up so high, is because they don't make no money off these movies. The studios do. And the studios usually are yanking them before they can even get a chance to make some money.
Well, and again, that's understandable.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
The studios
100%.
wouldn't be yanking them so much. Yeah, the studios wouldn't be yanking them so much if they didn't have a pandemic that basically changed the entire game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's the cat is out of the bag and they cannot catch that thing and put it back in now. People expect films to come out, do their little theatrical run, and then be available on streaming, or be available on streaming almost day and date of release, which again, I get it. They had, they had a very odd year to work through and figure stuff out. But that panic has led them to basically it's kind of an unstoppable juggernaut at this point. There is no way, unless they literally lock it down, streaming will not show up until 6 months later or something like that, which they'll never do, because now that's going to cannibalize their streaming subscriptions and all that other sort of thing. So it's a huge catch-22. What do people in the chat, what are you guys thinking? Like, what is your preference? Do you guys like to go to the theaters and see it, or do you like to wait for streaming for a lot of these releases?
So
see what people are saying out of the chat as well.
Yeah, Waffle's saying that Mad Max make.
But yeah, Waffles just basically said,
crazy.
Yeah,
that was crazy. That it barely made a profit at all.
Oh, there it is.
I don't understand it. Like, why didn't that movie make a profit? I don't. And
because how long was it in theaters? It was like maybe like a few. It was like maybe 2 weeks.
Like 2 or 3 weeks, maybe 2 or 3 weeks, and that's it. And then it was yanked. It barely gave people a chance to even realize that it was in the theater in the first place before they yanked it, right?
Yeah, because like you were talking about that one time. It's like it snuck up. Was it Furiosa or something else?
Yes, Furiosa.
Because like you said, because you was like, is it out? Because I don't remember you didn't remember it was coming out. Or
I remember it was coming out. Yeah, and some of that, okay, you like GQ saying, it's catch-22. Some of that is poor marketing, right? People lack of awareness of a movie being out. The movie not appealing to a broad enough audience to get people to go out and see it. That's another factor. But also, you can't ignore the whole making it available on streaming so quickly, because it's not a guarantee, right? It's not a guarantee that people are going to sign up to a service just to see one movie, right? You have to have a litany of movies that are going to bring people out. But even then, can people justify having 12 different subscriptions? I'm paraphrasing here, but basically 12 different subscriptions to 12 different services just so you can see all the movies that they want to see. No one really wants to deal with that, right? To cut out the middleman, you could rent on digital, or you can just go to the movie theater. And
go ahead.
No, you go ahead. I was pretty much done.
Well, to Dido's point, you know, they're probably banking on those people that do the rental or the, you know, the digital buy. Hopefully, you know, hoping that, you know, that'll be the replacement for their ticket. But to me, that literally is cutting down, because, like, for example, the average household, not counting, you know, the guys that are single that just go to the movies just to, you know, on their own or whatever, average household takes 3 people to a film when they go see a film. It's just to say that's just the average number
at minimum.
Yeah, so that's it. Now again, we're not talking about studio cuts and movie theater cuts and all that. Let's just say that's $30. The movie theater is going to see, you know, part of that 30, but also they're going to hope for more on concessions and all that other sort of thing. If you basically break that down to every single household now is just one ticket, $10, you're cutting into your money.
Exactly,
you know,
man.
It feels like a very weird thing. Now, granted, they're gambling on the fact that they're going to get more households because now people don't have to literally get out, go anywhere. They're just here at their own home and they can just buy whatever. So it's almost like you're trying to cast a wide net and hope that just sheer numbers you're going to get more, even though it's less money.
Yeah,
I have a question
up front.
Yeah, go ahead.
I have a question about that. So, say for instance, like you said, like, I mean, the caveat is like, you know, it takes the movie out like within less than 30 days, like you said. But what if some of those movies are like what going on digital for rental for maybe like 10, maybe $20 at most?
10 to $20.
Okay. So how are they? Because I mean, you would think like if it's like in theaters, most matinees are like close to like, you know, $12
$5
at the most.
$12 per matinee.
$5. Well, like like, you know, late night you going, not the whole like full-on matinee. It's like maybe like 13, maybe the full price of the movie.
What theaters you going to, brother? Cause
hold on. Actually, he's got a good point though. Real quick, put it in the chat though. What are you guys average paying at tickets across the country? Because obviously we're dealing with mainly Michigan prices. So what are you guys paying in other places?
Yeah,
go ahead.
I know it's, you know, some are $5, but like, you know, you get those like special seats or whatnot. You know what I'm saying? Like you know how we go to the actual like was it
Super
the IMAX, Super EMAX, and those prices kind of like, you know, up there. But like, yeah, some people do that. Some people go in like and do some and I quotate, some actually do the actual 3D. Some people go in to like experience that like venture. So those are kind of like up there too. So I was like, so compared to like going to, you know, cutting the movies off and releasing it digital, maybe like 10, maybe $20 at most. I would say 10, compared to like what you were like producing in theaters. That's kind of like a big like cash difference, especially because like it's only one household person that's buying that. You get, if you really think about it, maybe what do you say the average like, you know, household, you know, parents kids ratio is like maybe like 2, maybe 4 kids at most.
You say
And
maybe 3 to 4. If
3
we're
to 4.
generous. Yeah.
Okay, 3 to 4 kids. You know, or you know, 4 kids.
No, I wasn't saying kids. I was just saying people in general. Yeah, just people in general. 3, 4. Yeah.
Okay, let's say like, you know, 3, 4. You know, parent, 2 kids going to the movie theaters. That's kind of like you're losing money just that alone for that demographic. Not alone like maybe like you have a household that has maybe more than, you know, more kids than, you know or think about it. So I don't really see the math in that. It's like, okay, we're gonna like just take this movie out, have you rent it or buy it for like maybe $10, maybe $15. Compared to going to the movie, having them go to the movie theaters with their, you know, especially like if it's a kid movie. Because like you said, was it Inside Out?
Yep.
Inside Out 2 made $1 billion.
It made $1 billion. Exactly. I don't think Disney regrets. Right. It doesn't. But okay. And here's the thing, right? So, and we got to wrap up this time and move on. And this is a good one, right? This is a good one, right?
I'm just.
It seems like the national average is like around like $15. Because we're seeing in multiple places. Iguana Man, I think, is he lives south of Michigan, so I think his is like $15. The other Steve is in Fort Wayne, and his is between 14 and 16. So that's about what we pay, right? If you're saying that Inside Out 2, you're taking like maybe 5 kids, I'm just, this is hypothetical. 5 kids and maybe probably two parents, because ain't no one parent taking 5 kids to the movie theater by themselves. Not by themselves. There ain't no way, right? So we're talking 7 tickets times $15. That's $100. That's $105. It's $105. Essentially, they're missing out on, as opposed to if it was on Disney Plus, you do it straight direct streaming. It's $12.99 and just invite everybody over and they can all watch it once. That's
money lost.
Money lost. 100% money lost.
Again, they're leveraging against the thought that most parents are not going to want to spend that $105. And let's be real, you take kids to a theater, you're going to spend more than the $105 because they're going to want candy and drinks and all the other stuff. So they're leveraging that. The average parent is not going to want to do that. But they'll quickly pull that $10 out, $20 out, or whatever. Boom, sit in front of it and watch this. And they don't even have to necessarily be there anymore. You know, if it's a kids movie, they might not even want to watch it anyway. So now they just sit all the kids in front of the TV, set it up, and boom, there you go. So they're banking on the fact that the average consumer either can't afford, the full-on theater experience, and basically what it is, they just want the money however they can get it. And I understand that. I just look at it as a weird, I don't know, it's just, to me, it's still weird math in the sense of these movies cost millions, hundreds of millions, and they're hoping that these households are going to basically get it back to them, when it used to just be that you needed the theater to do that, to get it started, and then you get your home video stuff later. So who knows? I mean, it's a new thing. Pandemic definitely put a monkey wrench in anybody's plans for 2020. So we'll just have to see where it goes. Me personally, I just despise the lack of physical media that's available in stores nowadays. But that,
I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that. All right, let's switch up the pace a little bit. Thank you everybody for contributing to that conversation. Really great feedback, and we'll talk about this a little bit more as things progress, especially even on our topic that we're going to get to a little bit later. So let's switch it up a little bit. Let's talk about this Hellboy movie. That Hellboy the Crooked Man. The trailer just came out. I haven't seen it. Some of the others have. So let's watch it together and do a little bit of a quick reaction to it.
Something in these hills.
What kind of a name is that?
Something haunted. Evil. It smells like death.
Okay.
How do you know that?
Dark things called dark things.
I heard tales about him all my life. Most just called him the Crooked Man.
We've got company.
All your friends, they all gonna die.
All right. So first of all, Dido's gonna be right back. He went out to do somewhere. But first things first. So what strikes me about this trailer?
Sorry, Lego shot across the room.
Okay. We know it's important to find that, because if you don't do it now, it's gonna be lost forever. That's usually what, and it's a little one too. So I know, so I get that. But so this Hellboy movie, number one, looks really low budget. I appreciate that Mike Mignola, who's creator of Hellboy, is doing this film. And it does have a more of a decidedly horror slant as opposed to horror supernatural / superhero. I can appreciate that about this. But why does dude look like Christopher Lambert painted red? That's what. That's right.
Ketchup.
Now again, because this looks low budget, it looks like they grabbed a cosplayer and say, "Hey, we want you to be in this Hellboy fan film that we're making," and Mike Mignola is directing. Would you want to do it? Hell yeah, I'll do
for
it.
low budget, it looks For low budget, it looks
pretty
very
good.
polished though.
It does look
Yeah.
polished. I'll give that. But it looks like, you know what it looks like? It looks like
found film to me.
Thank you, Blair Witch Project type.
Yeah, something like that.
Found film.
But I mean, I think that's where they're going with though. To be honest with you, because like how even the Crooked Man, I believe Crooked Man is like I guess one of those like cryptids. This that people talk about around here in the woods.
Oh no! Ali just gave us the skinny on this movie. Pull that up there for me, GQ. So, the Hellboy movie is co-written by the comics writer Mike Mignola, distributed by Ketchup Entertainment, and directed by the guy who did Ghost Rider 2 and Jonah Hex.
I actually fell asleep on Ghost Rider 2 in the theaters.
Oh no!
We'll see. Because here's the thing: I'll give this comic book creator props. He's gotten his film out faster than Todd McFarlane's new Spawn.
Damn right. How many years
has
he's been making that new Spawn movie? What,
that's what I'm saying.
years?
So I mean, exactly.
Years?
At least this is actually about to drop, and it looks interesting, at least from the trailer.
True.
So, and you got to also put things into perspective as far as that director for Jonah Hex and Ghost Rider. He's handcuffed by PG-13.
True.
There's certain things that you cannot do in PG-13 that are going to make those things harder to really get a quality thing. Hellboy is an R-rated property, regardless of how you want to look at it. It works better as an R-rated property. So with the comic creator being involved, and also just the look of it so far, I think this is going to work actually. So we'll see.
I will watch it because I like to watch all comic book movies. So even though I haven't seen Jonah Hex.
How about Tank Girl?
I saw Tank Girl. I liked Tank Girl because Tank Girl didn't. I mean, first off, I didn't read the comic. Tank Girl was one of those '90s fun, and seeing Ice-T as a kangaroo man was kind of fun.
Road to Perdition. How about Road to Perdition?
I saw Road to Perdition, and I like that. If I remember correctly, that was with Tom Hanks.
Yep.
And I thought that was really good too. That was something I would buy. And then that other one with Viggo Mortensen, that was
I was just about to bring that up. The one with Viggo Mortensen.
I can't remember the name of it, but I saw that one
History
too.
of Violence.
I thought that was great too.
Well, you got to remember, Road to Perdition wasn't even marketed as a comic book film because that wasn't even a popular thing back then. It was just another Tom Hanks movie for most people.
Right. Well, shit. Now there was Blade 1. They tried very hard to scrub any notion of a comic book out of that film.
Not really. Right off the bat, it said presented by Marvel Comics.
I mean, but that was the only thing it gave it. Everything else they tried very hard to like.
But every other comic book fan knew that already. Red, especially Red. Red didn't even say nothing about it.
And same thing with the Losers.
Yeah, Losers.
Right. That's true. Yep, that's true.
Right. Remember, there was a time when that wasn't a popular notion, but they still were with properties.
Right. Waffles. How does Hellboy of all comic movies keep getting greenlit? He's right. But this one
is an easy concept.
Well, yeah, and I think it's because this is a passion project by the creator of the comic book. Again, all the shade to Todd McFarlane, who can't seemingly get his damn Spawn movie off the ground. Is Jamie Foxx still attached to that thing? Because for the longest time, he was supposed to be playing Simmons.
Probably not.
Well, I guess he heard that it might be jumping to Tubi, so he jumped out real quick.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the thing with Spawn,
Wolf, I think Todd McFarlane could use your help, brother. You got your movie out on Tubi before he got his. So maybe
I think the thing with Spawn though, Spawn as a concept is fun. And obviously in today's age, doing the CG is a no-brainer. That's not really an issue. I think the problem with Spawn is just it still deals with hell and Satan and all the stuff that the religious people are just gonna go up in arms over and hate to see brought to the forefront. It's like, at least with the first one, it was, it just was what it was, and it was during that time in the 90s when pretty much everything was coming out, so it didn't matter. I think in today's climate, Spawn is a hard sell. Not for us. We all grew up with it. It was fun. The HBO series was great. But I think for the general audience is kind of what they're worried about. Like, okay, how are we going to bring this out?
Exactly.
And
all right.
It's weird.
Yeah, we got more trailers to get to before we pivot back to some other stuff to talk about. So I saw this and I was just like, how does this get greenlit before Wonder Woman can ever get a show?
I'm looking for a flying villain destined for greatness.
Kite Man can do it.
Who's Kite Man?
Hey, you know me. I got a kite. I'm Ivy's ex-fiance. This is the love of my life, Golden Glider, and we co-own this establishment.
Kite Man it is.
Hell yeah. Time to wing it! Son, you have never accomplished anything in your life. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to get a vasectomy. Roger that.
We've got to stop that cat.
Need to take my powers to the next level. Still working out the kinks.
Your heart is your superpower. And anyone who doesn't see that is getting their ass kicked by me.
Holy shitballs! Go red!
You wear the suit, it doesn't wear you.
Business turn, yes.
The big supervillains are all sitting pretty in their layers, but this place is for the henches, the goons, the place for the rest of us.
Where everyone around you loves you. Where'd everyone
You'll love
go?
this part though.
May I make you a drink, Sir Darkseid?
Non-alcoholic, please. This iced tea and lemonade mixture reminds me of my favorite golfer,
Arnold Paul.
Lee Trevino.
El Trevino.
A round of Lee Trevinos for everyone.
Ain't nobody correcting them. You're not correcting.
Hell no,
them.
you ain't gonna correct Darkseid. You crazy?
Hilarious.
You crazy? Ain't no way.
Hilarious.
Ain't no way. Jules can't play. Thank you very much for following Junkie Nation. Appreciate you being here. Like literally. Yeah, man. So I don't understand. I don't understand why it's taking them so long to make a Wonder Woman animated series, which I think would kick a lot of ass.
Well,
Kind
they
of
already
make it,
had their
yeah.
opportunity, and yeah, they already had their opportunity, and then a certain movie came out and tanked all of Wonder Woman's momentum.
I
So
mean, yeah,
that's
there's
definitely not giving Wonder Woman anything right now.
There's that. There's that.
And not only that, let's be real. Wonder Woman as a series would be fun for a season.
Mhm.
Then you're done. Because who's in her rogues gallery?
The Pantheon of Gods, Cheetah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but again, once you do that, then what? Because here's the problem. Once you go to gods, it's like, okay, you're fighting gods. So unless you're doing that for the entire show, which is kind of boring,
Psycho.
because
Yeah.
there's only so much you can do with that, and then you're done.
Yeah.
That's why Wonder Woman as a character needs other characters to make her interesting.
Okay. Yeah. Well, okay. I'll grant you that. All right. So there was actually this game I thought was really interesting, and I wanted to kind of show you the trailer for this as well. It's called Unbeatable. I stumbled upon the trailer came out 3 weeks ago. I stumbled upon it today, and I thought it was interesting. So I kind of wanted to show it to you guys, see if you guys had ever seen it. The concept seemed kind of interesting.
I say the lines, the syllables, got it memorized so I can make you stop. You treat me like a criminal, so why shouldn't I treat you like you're a cop?
Oh, it's a rhythm game.
Yes and no.
A rhythm side scroller beat 'em up.
Yeah.
Please allow me to introduce ourselves to you tonight. We are...
Yeah, that piqued my interest.
Game where music is illegal and you do crime.
2025.
Yeah, sex
like
bomb.
Yeah,
the concept was interesting to me, and so I kind of want to show you guys.
Why does it kind of remind me of a combination of Guitar Man and Jet Set Radio?
It did to me too.
Yeah.
It did to me too, and that's why to me, and obviously the art style also kind of looked pretty interesting as well.
Yeah.
Even if I don't end up playing it, right, which the odds are pretty good that I probably might not, but I at least wanted to, I'd be remiss if I didn't present it to the rest of the nation and make you guys aware of it, because I thought it was interesting and thought you guys might be interested in looking at it. So yeah, to me, it look. Gatman was like, that's looking clean. Parappa better have a guest spot in this song. Hand of Omega, Parappa better have a guest spot in the song. Hilarious. No, that's pretty funny. So man, Hand of Omega is like, fireworks are going off already, obviously because the 4th is tomorrow.
No, that's just shooting.
He's like, either that or is the gang war outside his window. He's right. Yeah, it might be, depending on his proximity towards the inner city and 8 Mile. It might be popping off because they seem to do that.
Does that scene?
I'm glad I've gotten past that whole desire to buy fireworks anymore, because that's literally just burning money.
Literally burning money. 100%.
I watch somebody else do it, but I don't need to do it.
Right. Yeah. That's it. Everything about that just seems kind of weird. All right, so let's pivot back to the watch party. We watched the Acolyte episode 6 yesterday, and for me personally, the show is yesterday's episode was kind of frustrating. Frustrating from the standpoint, it showed stuff but didn't tell you nothing. I think this was the first. I think this was the first episode where I really felt like some of the stuff I really wanted to know never got answered, and then they just layered some extra layer of mystique on top of it. Right? We finally did see the lightsaber whip, and sure, some of the stuff in there makes us kind of think a few things, but everything about that episode read to me like, oh, we're going to tease you with this and tease you with this and maybe tell you a little bit of information, but to get more, you're going to have to wait. And that was just really frustrating to me. Guys,
well, I was exactly like you until I started looking at other people's perspectives and trying to understand it that way. If you think about it, yes, we were looking for answers. And yes, more questions were posed, but what was happening in that episode is a switch. And you saw the switch kind of happening because first off, you got a Sith, because we don't know if he technically is, so it's quotations right now. Maybe he is. Kind of acting more like a Jedi in a way, being, warm and comforting and trying to, pull somebody in a way. And then you got the Jedi being very standoffish with the two twins. And pretty much both of them are going to get the answers that they're looking for, and we're gonna find out what's going on. But I think what they were trying to do in that episode, if you think about it, is a little bit more character development, especially with Osha, because why is she the way she is? She does have some kind of fear in her. She couldn't let go of her attachments, and that's all. That's all the making of a good Sith, is somebody who can't let go of their attachments and all this other stuff. And with her putting that helmet on at the end, is more than likely she's going to probably start to go that way, because like she thinks she failed as a Jedi because of certain situations of what we don't know just yet. So yeah, I felt a little frustrated when I was done watching it because I wanted some answers, but that episode wasn't there to give us answers just yet. So we're gonna
perhaps I need to watch it again. And there's that. I haven't done my second rewatch of the episode again like I usually do. And maybe I need to watch it again, maybe to pick up some stuff that I missed. Now, it did bring up a couple of things that we thought. So Chimera and Osha spent a lot of time together. They seemingly started to go down the path of Game of Thrones with Star Wars in this episode. If y'all know what I mean, Chimera was gravitating more almost towards the gratuitous side, just like Game of Thrones kind of does as far as nudity goes. Osha got herself a nice little eyeful of my man's entire body, which I know a certain subsection. Right. I know a certain subsection of the fandom is really loving Chimera as a villain, and not because he's very charismatic or as a good villain is because my man is appealing to their eyes, I guess you could say. But anyway, I digress. Relationship between Ocean and May, and then her seeing the scar on his back. When we did see Venestra's lightsaber weapon, it did start to make us wonder what could be there. They haven't revealed anything, and clearly Venestra isn't nearly as clean as I had anticipated her being, which could be pretty interesting because for those of you that don't know, I don't know, is it Venestra Rowe is the master, is the Jedi master over everybody. She's the Green Lady in this show. She's a character from the High Republic novels. Like she's one of the main characters in the novels, but she's younger. It's her much younger. This is her towards the tail end of the High Republic.
Oh, Jay's in the house. What up, Jay?
Yes, Big Pimpa Jay did give us a comment. Appreciate you, sir, for being here. It's been a while. And his point is where my frustration comes from. He says Acolyte has a solid story that suffers from a slow pacing issue. It's just a lot of what we said yesterday in the watch party after chat.
I was, it's funny though. I was
like,
I was hoping that Chimera was gonna like look at Ocean. It's like, do you want to know how I got these scars?
Right.
But I think
Vestra
Vestra might be the master to that threw him out. I'm just speculating, but I've kind of gotten that feeling, especially like with the whip thing and all that. But the lightsaber whip. But yeah.
Yeah, there's probably going to be some history there. I think the one thing you got to be careful of when you think about pacing in a show, we're experiencing it as an audience. You have to look at it as the characters, and from the characters' perspective, how things are progressing. Yes, it seems like some of these threads could be wrapped up faster, but okay, why not? Why do they have to necessarily be wrapped up faster? If I'm sure the showrunners want to plan for an additional season or whatever. And start some of the stuff out. But I think one of the pitfalls of episodic television, at least for a lot of people, is they, especially coming off of being able to just binge stuff and watch it all the way through in one sitting, is back in the day when stuff is episodic like this is, not so much episodic in storytelling, but, you had to wait basically one by one. There's some of these questions are going to come up, but they're not going to be answered because this is the story that's being told, that how the characters are experiencing the story, not so much, why is this, why is that? It's like, well, it may or may not be answered. It may or may not, be discussed. It may or may not, even come up in any part of the show. Just kind of just sit back and watch what's presented, and then once the whole thing is done, then ask all these questions and see if that's something that they're going to address in a possible season 2 or whatever. I think that's part of what I dislike about a lot of the reviewers that are trying to review this show and other shows. It's like, oh, this is terrible because XYZ. Okay, that's great. X, Y, and Z might be revealed in the next episode. You're sitting here ripping it apart for one episode.
In every case that has happened too this season, right? In just about every case. Now I want to address something else that Jay just said. First he said, love you guys, which obviously we love you too, brother. Take care of young Miles. Happy fatherhood. I know you're enjoying that very much. But he says it's really a murder mystery that just needs to get out of first gear. Dude, it's 6 episodes in. It should be out of first gear by now. In my opinion.
That's the thing is, I agree and I disagree at the same time because it's 6 episodes. Man, they're slowly cooking it, and there's nothing wrong with a slow cook. I only think that the episodes, we should get 8 episodes, and each episode should be an hour. And I think that would have probably would have been just a little bit better.
That would have helped a lot.
I just don't think any of those shows need to be half-hour episodes, and that's my main issue. The story that they tell is, in my opinion, really good. And when you have questions about anything that you're watching, that means I think they're doing a good job. You may not like the pacing of question. Like I said, one of the reasons why I wasn't a big fan of Attack on Titan in the beginning is because of stuff like that. But then it started to come around, and it started to, actually do what it needed to do to satisfy what I needed. And it's not a bad show at all. It's just that the person watching it sometimes just needs to sit down and shut up. Let them cook, man. Don't be in the kitchen asking when you gonna put the salt in, when you gonna fucking put the pepper in, when you.
No, and I hear you. I hear all of that, and you're not wrong. But I guess, like you said, right? I'm comparing, and it's not a comparison, right? It is what it is with this show. I just finished a rewatch of all of the Mandalorian, the entire Mandalorian stories, and it took me less than 3 days. I stretched it out. It took me less than 3 days to watch it. I even did go to Book of Boba Fett, but I started Book of Boba Fett at episode 5, where Jin and Grogu basically rejoin the story. But watching that, and those episodes are like an hour long. The pacing is much better. I'm not even going to say the writing is stronger, right? But the pacing was just a lot better because that hour allowed you to stretch your legs, do a little bit more, and keep the story moving at a brisker pace than what the Acolyte is letting itself do. Now, I don't know if this was a edict from Dave Filoni or if this was a choice by Lindsay Headland to only do half-an-hour episodes, but I do feel like it is a detriment to the show's overall success for a much broader audience if the shows were a little bit longer. And I think some of these pacing issues wouldn't be so much of a concern.
I think what it is a money issue. And it's funny to even say that when Disney's involved, but I think it's truly a money issue. The rumor is that this series cost $180 million to make. Now, realistically, we all know that $180 million would get you half of a Star Wars movie these days, as far as what it costs to make a Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think if you were going to stress, and I think if you're going to try to stretch that out to hour-long episodes, you're clear. You're talking at least $250 million for the series. I think that's a big ask on something that's an unproven. Now, granted, Star Wars is Star Wars, but still, in Star Wars lore, this is an unproven property. So I can kind of see why they went with the shorter episodes. Yes, I'm with all you guys. Definitely would love to see longer episodes, at least for the sake of story and pacing and action and all that. But I think we just have to be realistic about the money side of it. As fans, yes, we want to see more story, more of we want more of the stuff that we like. But I think just from a realistic pocketbook standpoint, and also as a shareholder, from a shareholder standpoint, that money needs to be used wisely. And Acolyte may or may not prove that it's a great thing later on down the line. Who knows? Again, like you said, I'm not buying into all the hate and all that because we've all seen enough movies and read enough books to know how stories are laid out and how you have to lay the groundwork, especially if you're introducing something new. Even if it isn't an established universe, it's still a new thing within that established universe. So, again, as I've said, I've been enjoying it anyway. So
now
we'll see what happens.
Now, I want to say something in deference to something Dido's little brother, Chris, said earlier in the chat. He was saying, it's like, man, you see how they hating on that how people hate this new Star Wars show, right? And everybody's talking about, well, this show needs to be kind of a success to get a season 2. Well, a report was just published 2 days ago by Screen Rant, and it's very interesting, and I want to show it to you guys. And you can use this as ammunition to all the haters out there and kind of shut them up. This is really going to burn them up. Exclusive data, third-party data, suggests the Acolyte is a Star Wars success story despite the backlash. And here's the cliff notes. The Acolyte's success is revealed through third-party data despite review bombing controversy. It ranks second in streaming and engagement amongst Star Wars Disney shows, outperforming 90% of the top 100 TV shows.
You want to know something that's funny? the people that are hating on the movie are still watching it regardless.
Yeah.
And that's what this data is showing.
And despite that, even though they're hating on it, but they still can't stop watching it. So it's like it's funny. I find it funny.
Hate watching helps way more than it hurts.
Yep.
So if you hate this show, you probably should stop watching it. But maybe you don't hate it as much as you say you do. Because here's this third point. The online backlash doesn't represent the fandom, as Real Goods data shows positive reception amongst viewers. Case closed.
There you go.
Case closed. Case closed. Now, Hand of Omega is asking a good question. How does it rank among the other CW SW shows? Great question. Let's refer to this chart right down here. As you can see, as far as watch time and engagement, the #1 Star Wars show, Obi-Wan Kenobi. The second show, The Acolyte. The third show,
wasn't Obi-Wan all super duper hated and stuff as well?
Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
It's almost like the haters are like kind of slitting their own throats.
Hey. All this hype and this controversy, them talking about it, them hating it, is making people go and see it. And two things could be happening here. Either it's confirmation bias, right? Or the opposite is happening, where they're saying, what is this dude talking about? This is actually good.
Yep.
Jay's like, bro, charts and data. No, it's very good. You're right. I got a timeshare to show y'all on Neverland Ranch to share y'all. But anyway, no, man, it's just real interesting how, if people are saying that this show is terrible and all this other kind of stuff, the data is saying otherwise. Yeah, people are going to be loud and obnoxious and negative on social media and stuff like that, but they are a very loud vocal minority. They are very much like the Snyder Bros, who held up Snyder in such high regard and says, "Oh my God, the Snyder Cut is the greatest thing ever. Oh my God, 4 hours and of this movie is going to be the greatest thing." And everybody's like, "Yeah, no, no." Speaking of which, did y'all hear that Snyder's teasing that his Snyder Cut is going to make a theater appearance?
Snyder Cut of what?
Justice League.
The Justice League.
His Justice League.
Don't care.
Supposed to be in theaters.
I'm not
that's a
just
hard one to do.
Yeah.
I mean, I would. Part of me wants to sit in a theater and hear everybody laugh at that chick singing when Aquaman swam away. I want to experience that with a live audience. That's what everybody can at the same moment, same time. It's like really. That was the most awkward moment I've ever seen in a movie. Like, I mean, I even felt bad for Ben Affleck. He had to stand there and just look over, like,
this chick was sniffing his sweater.
And it's right. And she picked up his sweater, started sniffing it. I'm like,
sweater.
And again, I love Zack Snyder for certain stuff, and that scene right there was like, it's like, dude,
what is this, man?
As ridiculous and weird as it was like film gold to just sit there and be like, this is the most awkward thing I've ever seen in my life, but I can't look away. This is getting worse. But it's
like, what the hell is?
It was funny though.
Yeah, it was funny.
For what it was funny. Like I said, I would go see it in the theater just to see a live reaction to that. Just that moment of like, this is the most awkward thing ever.
If we being for real, okay. Number one, I don't think this is going to get a wide release because I think Warner Brothers would have a severe conflict of interest with their upcoming Superman film to put this thing in the theaters and to detract attention from that. But
hold on, when does that Superman come out though? It's still filming
next year.
So they can the Snyder Cut out before the end of this year.
Okay.
Knowing Warner Brothers though, they'll put it out and be like, "Oh, coming to stream." Like, "Oh, wait, this is already on streaming."
Exactly, man. Like, okay, never mind the fact. This thing is.
I don't care.
Yeah, I hear you. But how many people do we really expect to pay money to go sit in a
I
4-hour
need
cut.
enough people to sit there and laugh with me at that goofy ass moment when that chick is singing and watching Aquaman swim away.
Like,
I
dude,
just need that. As soon as that happens, I could probably leave. I'll be like, all right,
Dude,
I just need
a
funny-
third of the
funny-
freaking movie has been stretched out with
Yeah.
slow mo. Like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Really? Anyway.
Yeah,
So
the movie is funny.
unintentionally, he really tries to take himself super seriously. Super seriously.
I know, but
Yeah.
again, I will give him all the knowing what he went through to get that film made, knowing what he went through and why he stepped away from his original film.
Yep.
I completely understand him wanting to do what he did with that film. I get it. Some of the choices in there I would have personally not made as just from an editor standpoint.
Slow-mo.
But it's still hilarious to watch that film in some unintentionally. But as a story, it does feel like a completely different movie than the Whedon cut.
Right.
So
And
like I said, I appreciate the filmmaking aspect of it, of like, okay, he did basically take the bits and pieces and put together a completely different movie, and it was cool.
And do not get me wrong. I am not saying that I hate the Snyder cut and don't think it's a pretty decent film. I think it is. Is it better than the Whedon cut? Marginally better. I think it's marginally better than the Snyder cut. I do like some of the choices, some of the things that they did in there. I thought it was cool, but overall, it's just like it's an exercise in futility. It's like you're not gonna get anything more from this. Why even bother investing any more energy into it? That's just
Hey, again, it's theater money potentially. That look at it. Come on now, James Cameron has released Avatar 3 times.
You're right. You are correct. You are
So
correct.
let's not act like they can't make something off of it. Plus, dude, Black Suit Superman. That in and of itself is enough reason for me to like that movie. Because that's never been done live action.
I will give you that. Yes, that part is true.
Yeah.
All right.
Did give us Murder Batman too, though.
Yeah, I know. Okay. Watching paint dry is better than the Joss cut. And I actually liked the Joss cut when we saw it in the theater. I did enjoy my time seeing it, but that's years in the rearview mirror, and I think I have a little bit of a different opinion on it now. Anyway,
whatever. We about to watch both cuts on the meeting on Sunday.
4-hour meeting.
You know what? Honestly, I don't mind.
Be like 6 hours.
I don't.
Yeah, really.
I don't mind throwing it on just for us to all collectively laugh at that Aquaman scene. Yes, I'm good with it.
Dude.
I'm good with it. That anyway, so let's pivot one last time. Let's talk about movies that do deserve to be in the movie theater, like Beverly Hills Cop, Axel Foley, right? Just came out on Netflix. Shut up, Takeem. Nobody's talking to you. Beverly Hills Cop, Axel Foley just came out on Netflix today. If you guys haven't seen it, you definitely should do it. If you're available, you have a Netflix password, or a Netflix account, you should definitely give it a watch. It was a good 2 hours of time. I enjoyed it. Was it overly nostalgic? A little bit, but still, it was a solid film. It was Eddie Murphy at his best. It was Eddie Murphy as Axel Foley. Okay. If you had issues with Beverly Hills Cop 3, and I don't know too many people who didn't.
I liked Beverly Hills Cop 3. He went up those
saying
stairs.
that you didn't like it. not saying that there wasn't stuff to like about it, but everybody knows that it was definitely the weakest of them all. Beverly
George
Hills
Lucas
Cop,
was in Beverly Hills Cop 3.
He was, but
and then come on, Wonder World.
I don't remember the whole entire lyrics, but me and my brother used to watch the hell out of Beverly Hills.
Oh my God, yes. But seriously,
it was granted in the pantheon of the original Beverly Hills Cop films, it was the weakest. It's the weakest entry. But I mean, it had some stuff that was just fun. But
yes. Right.
It was what it was. It's
in this movie here, to me, while it isn't as good as Beverly Hills Cop, it isn't as good as Beverly Hills, definitely not as good as Beverly Hills Cop 2. It is 100% better than Beverly Hills Cop 3. It is a great time. And I think the conversation should have been had. Should we give this at least a limited theater run to make a little bit of money? Because I do think it's got some good factors going for it. One, Eddie Murphy is still Eddie Murphy. Forget Coming to America, because we know Coming to America was difficult to watch, I think. But this is classic Eddie Murphy at his best. He looked like he hadn't lost a step. Stepping into those shoes is Axel Foley. And all the principal characters were there, unlike in 3, where Taggart was missing. He's back in this one.
Did they explain where he went?
They did. They did actually explain where he went.
Oh, that's cool.
Okay, they did explain where he went and why he was there, and introducing not only
they kind of expanded in the 3 a little bit.
They did that he had retired and he moved.
Yeah, he retired. Yeah.
Well, he's
in the third one he retired, but
yeah, he is.
Again, I get, and again, we don't want to spoil it because the movie literally just came out for people, and I get that. But I'm just saying, it's an interesting gap because I mean, let's be real. Like the original Beverly Hills Cop is an '80s movie, and we sitting here in 2024, like this, we talking 40 years. This man's still a detective, I guess, which is hilarious.
Yes,
so that's whatever. And again, I'll watch it and find out why. But it's one of those things. I kind of wish Eddie did not take that break that he took.
Yeah,
because there were so many sequels that he could have done when he was in his prime that would have been better than what we got from. And again, I'm not saying this is a bad movie because I haven't seen it. I'm going to watch it probably after we're done. But what I'm saying is in the sense of, he said he took a break because he wanted to make some films that his kids could see. I'm like, you can still do both. You don't necessarily. It's like that. There's a rating system for a reason.
100%.
So for me, he lost a lot of prime film opportunities that could have just been like, Beverly Hills Cop,
Golden Child 2,
Coming to America, Golden Child 2. There's a bunch of stuff that he could have done that would have been like, okay, this is great, this is great, this is great. But now that he got older, it's like, and again, I'm not knocking his performance. I'm sure he's great because Beverly Hills Cop is a movie that made him. So. Him getting back into form is probably not an issue.
Is that before 48 hours?
But
48 hours
technically, wasn't it 48 Hours and Trading Places that made him more than Beverly Hills Cop?
Well, Beverly Hills Cop. You remember both of those movies? He was a co-star.
He was co-star.
Right.
Beverly Hills was his first.
It was his first solo
leading role.
Leading role. Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
And again, I'm not. It's not like he wasn't a great comedian before all that. Anyway, I'm just saying in the sense of movie studios banking on him, Beverly Hills Cop was the one.
Yeah. No, you're right. No, you're right. But no, again, like I said, I felt like this movie, much like what Netflix did with Glass Onion a couple of years ago, and releasing it to the theaters for at least 1 weekend where it could have made some money. And Q went and saw it at the screening at the Imagine for the press. He got to see it in the theater, and he'll tell you, like, it was a return to form, and he had fun with it. I think a lot of people would have had fun with it because, like I said, Eddie Murphy is still a draw because it's Eddie Murphy, man. And 2, I think Beverly Hills Cop is one of those 80s franchises that is remembered very fondly by a lot of people. Now, yes, some of those people are much. It's mostly us, yes, but I do think, I think there's enough people, even of the older crowd, that would want to go and see it in the theater. And there was a lot of moments in there to laugh. There was a lot of chemistry between the young lady that was playing his daughter, and especially there was a lot of chemistry with him and Joseph Gordon-Levitt, his character. It was just a really good movie, enjoyable all around. And of course, obviously, Kevin Bacon is Kevin Bacon. Shit. What else you got to say? So,
well, I mean, the thing is, even to that point, like the most recent theater movie that, half of us that are sitting here went to go see was Bad Boys. And that with the theater with a crowd was great. That was a great experience to see that with the full crowd. energy in the room was great. You know, the film itself was really good anyway. I think Beverly Hills Cop, you're 100% right, would have definitely benefited from, especially coming on the heels of like Bad Boys being a good release. This would have been a holiday weekend. They could have threw it in the theaters with no problem, in my opinion. And you know, obviously of it being on Netflix, you know, put on that. It's like Netflix. If Netflix made the film, release it in theaters to get even more money, and then bring it to Netflix.
Yeah, 100%. And that's what I'm saying. Because like, and side note, I wish I had gotten a chance to go and see Bad Boys with you guys in the theaters. It was fire. It was so much fun. If you haven't seen Bad Boys Ride or Die, y'all need to go see that. That thing was great. It was great. Takeem says, anyone else just happy Judge Reinhold is still alive? I mean, I don't think there was any threat of him being dead. Like, if anything, I would have thought Taggart's actor would have passed away, but he wasn't. So yeah, so I think
I'm definitely gonna watch it. 3 is not the one with Bridget Nielsen as Hand of Omega had asked.
That was
2 was Bridget Nielsen. 3 was what's her name?
Teresa Randall.
Yeah, Teresa Randall was in 3.
Who was Martin?
Who was missing?
Who was missing? Oh, funny thing about Bad Boys Ride or Die. For those of you that don't know, obviously Teresa Randall played Martin Lawrence's character Marcus's wife. Who they get to replace her? Tasha Smith, who was always across from Michael Jai White in those Tyler Perry movies. But what was Tyler Perry's name? I mean, what was Michael Jai White's character's name in those movies? It was Marcus.
Marcus.
Yep. And she had that same cadence that she always had, but she was a lot less.
I really wonder why Teresa Randall was not in that movie though.
Yeah,
I do too.
Because they got her for the third one, and again, she wasn't in the third one a lot. Yeah, she wasn't in the movie a lot. So it's just like, even in this one, you wouldn't have been in there a lot. Go ahead.
She said that my wife said that she was battling an illness or something like that.
Oh man, it's too bad.
Yeah,
fair enough.
Yeah.
All right, fair enough.
We gotta replace you.
Yeah, it's too bad.
Oh yeah, and again, Ride or Die was a great film. I'm looking forward to getting that one as soon as it drops.
She was battling cancer. Is that for real? Teresa Randall?
Okay.
Oh wow.
That will definitely keep her out.
Yeah, that would do it. That 100% would do it. Anyway, so I feel like this movie should have gotten a theater run. Is this going to be an ongoing trend? We were just talking about how certain movies are getting pulled from the theaters too fast, but now it seems like good movies that deserve to be in the theaters are never going to get the opportunity to get there. Like, is this just the future of movies? Like, everything is going to be direct to streaming now? Because I feel okay. Remember what we were talking about a few weeks ago when I said somebody bought Sony bought Alamo Drafthouse, and at some point they probably will start putting a lot of their movies in there. Maybe what it's going to take is for, like, say Disney buys AMC. If Disney buys AMC, I will be a happy person because I'm an AMC stockholder. I'll be a happy camper if they buy AMC. And if AMC becomes the place where you get to go and see Disney and Fox movies or something like that, that's going to help me out. But maybe that's what it's going to take for them to put their movies in the theater and keep them there for a longer period of time versus just sending them straight to stream.
Well, I just don't think that's the future, man. Everybody is still looking at stuff out of the past. The past was how it was because we didn't have anything else. You wanted to see the movies. Now we weren't. All of us were 3 of us were around in the 70s, but you were kids, little babies for most of them, and infants, right? We didn't have what we have now. And when movies came out in the theaters, and after the theater runs, they disappeared. There was no VHS, not till VHS and all that stuff was there, but they didn't really start putting that stuff on VHS for a wide release until like the mid 80s, the late 80s, when it really started blowing up, right? Home movie stuff didn't really start blowing up till way later. And they used that as a way to get people to, watch more movies, go to the movies. and all this other stuff. You go to the movies because if you didn't go to the movies, you weren't going to see it till a year or two later on home video, right? Things are moving so much faster nowadays. They are still making their money. You got to look at it in that aspect. I'm a fan, just like you guys. I do like going to the movies for specific movies because I believe they're theater movies. And not everybody thinks like us. A lot of people like being on their couch, popping their own popcorn, being able to pause it, being able to go take a piss, being able to do whatever. Netflix and chill is a big thing when they came made up because pause buttons exist, and it's making them money. No company does anything if it's not going to make them money. Now, granted, you might have some people that think it's going to make money and it doesn't pan out, but apparently this has been panning out. And it's been panning out so well that we don't have to wait 6 months for it to come to streaming or a year for it to come on the physical media and people go out and buy it. Best Buy might go out of business. They might be Circuit City. We don't know. But they did get rid of their physical media because only the diehards were going in there buying that stuff. And apparently that was not enough. So as much as it sucks, and as everybody can see behind me, that I like physical media. I like it more for games than I do for movies nowadays because a lot of movies I like to watch them. I only need to see them once. And for me, streaming, I can just freaking, if I have an urge to see it, and that's if it's streaming somewhere, then I'll just pull it up. Because a lot of these movies that I want to watch from like the 80s and 90s aren't streaming, and you can't buy them anywhere. Some of them, well, I take that back. They're streaming. You just have to rent them. Using your $2-3 or whatever to rent something, but it's a money thing, and I hate saying it that way. I wish it was a thing that was how we always have it. Keep the movie theaters going, keep us having a night out to do stuff, and it's gonna be there. I don't think they're gonna be putting as many movies as they used to be because I remember when I was a kid, I was thinking every weekend there's movies coming out, and now it feels like if movies are going to come out, they're going to be coming out on streaming. People are going to be watching them on streaming, and the really, 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 really big name stuff is going to be in a theater, and that's where we're going to go see stuff like that. Because like Deadpool, it's coming out of the theater. Deadpool could potentially, I don't know, not an analyst, don't work for Disney, don't work for any. It could potentially make more money streaming, but then again, maybe not. Because look at Inside Out, $1 billion. We don't know what streaming movies ever did $1 billion because a lot of times they don't release figures and swatches and all that other stuff. They don't release any of that stuff, so we don't really know. But it obviously has to be making them money, or they wouldn't be doing it. Because no company, they don't give a shit about your feelings. They don't give a shit about the environment. They don't care if it makes them money. They're going to do it. And
okay, now and Ryan Desmond Gaming just had a comment a little bit earlier over from YouTube. Thank you for the comment, appreciate it. He said Tarantino is an important director because he has a specific love for seeing his movies in cinema on the big screen. As a result, he makes movies for cinema. Might be a dying breed. He is similar to Denis Villeneuve, who did the Dune movies, which are big blockbusters, and they definitely deserve to be seen on big screens. And Christopher Nolan also has that similar demand. And we also know, obviously know that that Tom Cruise is 100% like that, because ain't no way, not a single Mission Impossible movie is not going to be not going to be on theaters. If he makes another Top Gun, it's damn sure going to be in theaters because he demanded that should be in theaters even during COVID, and it still did numbers. So you're right. Maybe it's just it takes the directors to really flex their muscles and say, hey, you want me to make a movie for you? You better put that thing in the theater. Maybe that's what it'll take.
And it probably will be, but it might be in the theater for a short period of time, and it's not going to stay for a long time. Because I remember a long time ago, there used to be theaters that are called art houses. And there's been a few times I've been to the ones in our area to see movies that you normally would not see. I remember one of the first things when I first met Jay many, many years ago, we went to the DIA to watch The Rear Window, which is, old Hitchcock film. And we saw it in an art house type setting. That is gone. I think you have one. You still have the DIA, you still have that, and you have to really be vigilant to see what kind of movies they're seeing in there. But like when we went, there was still nobody in the theater. Like every single time I've done type thing is hardly anybody in the theater. And that one, the main, I think it was called the main art house in Royal Oak.
Royal Oak is gone.
It's gone. It's closed because people weren't going to see those type of movies, and people were going to see big budget blockbusters mainly only. And yeah, COVID did mess a lot of that stuff up. And I just think that you got these people sitting in their offices making these decisions, not thinking about, hey, this movie should be on the theater because it's a better experience. They don't give a shit about the experience. They give a shit about how much money is going in their pocket, how much money is going there, and their stocks, and how much money is going in, all that other stuff. That's what's going on.
Now, and you have a good point, about the lack of.
I believe so. Dexter was there too. Gosh, that was a long time ago.
It feels like going to the theater for a lot of people is not special. It's not an experience. You can replicate it at home because the TVs and streaming technology is much better, and you don't have to deal with other people. Dido, I know you can relate to this. Dealing with people is kind of a hassle. I can relate to, because it seems like more or less a lot of people in the theaters, at least some of the theaters, depending on the theater you go to, they don't know how to act in the theater.
And what I'm looking at, was it Patricia Perez?
Patricio?
Yeah, they were talking about her child can't even stay still.
And
that's another thing too. I can well, I have a nephew. He damn sure can't stay still.
Yo, man, this dude, as much as he's in the karate, doing karate, would not watch a single second. Oh, Dido, cover your ears. Cover your ears. This is gonna hurt your feelings. Cover your ears. This boy would not watch Big Trouble in Little
China.
He wouldn't do it.
He wasn't even paying attention.
We was like, yo, Gray, look at this. He's doing kung fu.
Yeah.
Wouldn't look.
No,
wouldn't look. It was amazing, dude.
Yeah.
Wouldn't look.
He said, I would say this. He can sit and watch a horror movie. That's the one thing I'm like so weird about. He's like, he'll watch a horror movie, but like any action movies, don't even pay attention to it. It's like,
that's amazing.
It is.
That's amazing.
You finding dead animals around his underneath his bed?
Ass waffles.
Ass waffles. He's still in the chat. This boy would not watch it. It's amazing. But it's like, if it's like, say for instance, a big blockbuster movie wants to come out, and then instead of those like, oh, we gotta get the kids ready, what popcorn, what kind of candy you want, you're gonna have like plan it out. You can just pop in, watch what was it, HBO Max or Netflix, pop that one on the screen, do your thing, and then it's like have them watch it. Like, either they watch it, they don't. It's not like you losing money anyway. So I mean, other than like order a pizza or something, right?
But it's like I don't know. It's one of those things where it's like I would like to see Beverly Hills Cop in a movie theater, because I did go see the second one in the theaters, and that was kind of like a great experience. But
it was a great experience. So now, what's it gonna take to get movies in the theater? I think it's got to be something that really gets people out, and I feel like maybe your garden variety movie won't do it, right? I'll bring up something else to you guys, and then we'll close the show with this. Demon Slayer just finished the recent season of the Hashira training arc. This season's episode, it was only 7 episodes this season. Only 7 weeks. Wonderfully animated and everything, right? Literally, the last episode said, final episode, the Hashiras unite. And I told this to my daughter as we were watching. I was like, these are the final episodes ever. Like, they're not doing any more Demon Slayer TV series.
Nice.
And the reason being is because the entire last arc of Demon Slayer is going to be a trilogy of movies, which means a bigger budget for animation, longer run time so they can tell more of the story, and they can put it in the theater and give everybody an absolutely epic experience. Now, we know Demon Slayer is one of the most popular anime manga series on the planet. On the planet. if that gets a wide release, which I anticipated getting a wide release, that thing is going to do numbers. Those movies are going to do numbers because anime fandom is so much larger than it was when we were younger. And
that's an understatement. Megan
right?
The Stallion did a song with
the Hashiras, in it.
Like not even just that. Well, who was it? The from Jujutsu Kaisen?
Oh yeah,
the voice actor.
Gojo. Yeah, the voice actor.
No, it was Gojo. I think it was
no, it was Itadori.
It was Itadori because he was talking about big booty, you know what you call it, and it was the English voice actor from the anime in her song. That's an understatement. It is way bigger. And you can still get flighted for being an anime fan for some girls, apparently. I mean, shout out to Chandler from Pop That Balloon or whatever.
Oh wow! But no, I'm serious. Like, because these are going to be these Demon Slayer movies are going to be event experience movies, similar to the way it's a lesser example of doing an Avengers movie in the theater. It's going to take something like that to get people to go to the theaters and experience it in the theaters, because you're getting a once in a lifetime experience that you're not going to get anywhere else. And they're not going to put those on streaming, because unlike feature blockbuster films, anime films don't come out, on home streaming for months.
Yeah.
So you have no choice but to go to the theater and to see it, right? That's what's going to bring it back, because I'm sure Megan Thee Stallion might even be on the promotional tour for those Demon Slayer movies. If Crunchyroll is smart, they're in with Meg's reps right now, talking to them about when these movies come out, we need you to be hitting the tour and getting people to go and see them. And even if someone comes in cold to seeing the Demon Slayer movies in the theater, it might turn them into an anime fan, because they're like, wow, this is something else. This is a crazy experience, right? I think Demon Slayer, Star Wars, Game of Thrones, where you're doing a TV series, Star Trek, maybe even, where you're doing a TV series and you're doing a story across the entire season, and then you get to a big season-ending event type thing where people are already invested and they're bought in. If you put that in the theater, people will go see it because they're invested, right? So I think that's where that's going to go. I think that's where that's going to go. It's going to be fantastic. I can't wait for those Demon Slayer movies, because if you haven't seen that last episode, man, the animation in there was amazing. Some of the best stuff they've done in Demon Slayer, and Demon Slayer is already one of the probably the best as far as like visual flashy animation that you've ever seen in an anime series. Seriously, really good stuff. Really, really good stuff. Any comments other than what me and Dado said? What do you think, GQ? Because I think before you weren't as sold on the idea of doing something like that, TV then season ending as a movie. What do you think?
I mean, you can do it. The thing is, though, you have to tailor the story in a way that somebody that hasn't watched any of it is still going to understand what you're putting on screen. That's going to be the interesting balancing act, because it's like, okay, for example, I haven't watched any of Demon Slayer, so if I go in and see this film, am I, as a film watcher, going to enjoy it, not knowing anything about the characters and whatever? Are you going to present enough of the basically what the
previously on, like,
I mean,
it's type deal?
It's probably going to be a self-contained story, but they're not going to do stuff where you're going to know who the heck these people are. But it's going to be a story that's self-contained. It's kind of like going in, being a Star Trek fan, and then dropping yourself.
I'm not worried about that part of it. Yeah, I'm not worried about that part of it.
Yeah, I'm just saying, you're dropping yourself into a story that you don't know anything about the story. But yeah, it should be able to.
It's like, okay,
no, that's and again, it's like what Avengers did, because the first Avengers, yes, you had basically characters that were already established, but if you watch the Avengers film by itself, you still understand kind of each character basically, you know, what they're like. Now, you know, you don't understand their backstory and everything else, but you understand each character and kind of their motivations within that one film. If they're able to do that, then fine. You know, that's fine. You know, so we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, and they might be able to do it because again, I'm sure the films will employ some flashback pieces probably to get people up to speed as well, to help them out. You're probably not going to be able to get a lot of information just from, you know, coming in cold, but definitely that first movie has got to hit to where it doesn't leave anybody else behind if it's going to be effective. You're right. Patricio's asking how many movies they're making. They're making 3. It's a trilogy of movies. So literally 3 movies to wrap up the entire Demon Slayer story. Like once those 3 movies are over, the story of Demon Slayer is over. There's nothing else. Hand of Omega brings up a good point. Anime movies traditionally rely on you knowing the story and don't give a F if you don't. Usually that's the case. But by then you're already invested. Like take for instance the Dragon Ball movies. You pretty much already know the Dragon Ball movies because you're a Dragon Ball fan, and that's usually why you go and see those movies. Is because you're a Dragon Ball fan. You're not coming in cold. It's not like a Ninja Scroll movie where it's a completely self-contained story and you're getting everything in it. It's literally, oh, you know Goku, you know Vegeta, you know Gohan, and all these other people. Here's a random enemy for them to fight. Go and have fun. That's it. That's literally the plot. Literally the plot. It's as simple and as bare bones as it can get. I think Demon Slayer is about to change the game. Just me. So.
And it probably is going to change the game for anime movies, maybe. But like I said in our pre-chat, I think it has really has to do with the amount of money they're spending on animation. I don't think they can continuously do that for, you know, a 20-minute thing. They need to say, you know what, we got to do this for a movie.
Yeah, and for 3 movies, it's gonna be pretty big.
Yeah.
And I make the argument that I think Game of Thrones could do it. I think Star Trek could do it. Star Trek has done it. Well, no, Star Trek hasn't done it. They've always wrapped up their seasons on TV. But Star Trek could do it. Star Wars definitely could do it. And Star Wars, in a way, kind of is doing it with the whole ongoing storyline with Thrawn and the Mandalorian and Ahsoka and Boba Fett. And they're going to be wrapping those up, I think, in that Mandalorian feature film. All of that is supposed to be wrapped up in that film. Which will be interesting because, like GQ is saying, say you haven't seen any of the other shows besides The Mandalorian. Are you really going to know what the heck is going on if you didn't watch Ahsoka, if you didn't watch Book of Boba Fett, you know, that type of thing? So we'll see. We'll have to see. I think it's going to be good.
Yep.
All right, y'all. Before we get out of here, any last thoughts, comments from the chat?
Yeah, for me.
Yes, Mandalorian is getting a movie. It's supposed to come out in 2026.
None that I'm seeing. Yeah, Mandalorian is getting a movie, as far as we know.
Yeah,
is one of the questions that was asked.
Yep. All right, y'all. We're gonna go ahead and get out of here. Thank you for hanging out with us.
Got her act together by then.
Who? Oh yeah. Oh man, watching season 2 of Mando just made me really sad because I really liked Cara Dune as a character, and the opportunity was right there for not only but for her, but for I'm sure that Rangers of the New Republic was also a show for Carson Teva, the X-wing pilot, played by Paul Byung-hun Lee. I think that she really ruined it. She ruined that because that was going to be great. That was going to be great. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and get out of here, y'all. Thank you very much for joining us for this 90-minute episode of Culture Junkies Live. We'll be back next week, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central, for another really good episode. For my friends, the Great Adakuji and GQ and Simon Says, I'm sure. See you guys next week. Have a good one. Peace out.
Bye, everybody.